Congratulations to the 2025 graduating class of Sargent. The Sargent alumni community welcomes you. We know you have worked hard to earn your degree, you embody the Sargent spirit, and you have what it takes to be successful. Congratulations to all those who have supported these graduates, relatives, friends, professors, and mentors. And graduates, while I know that most of the support you received was positive and encouraging, others, well, let's say you showed them. Like some of you, I'm a first-generation college student. I would not be standing here today had my grandparents not crossed the Atlantic in third class, what they called steerage, in search of a better life in America. They raised my parents to understand the importance of family and hard work, and my parents valued education as well. They worked hard and saved to send their children to college. I attended a large high school where a small minority of students went on to a four-year college. Growing up, the only women I knew who graduated college were nurses and teachers. On television, women were mostly stay-at-home moms, except for the women on the original Star Trek and a handful of others. But somehow I wanted to be a doctor. My parents and guidance counselors urged me to pick an undergraduate major that would land me a job out of college, just in case I didn't get into medical school. I would not have discovered Sargent College without them. When I graduated from Sargent College with my BS in PT, my parents and three of my grandparents were there to see me receive my diploma. So graduates, take some time to think about all the people who have helped you so far on your journey. And when you have the opportunity, remember to express your gratitude. Today, you are graduating from a college that has been around since 1881. Sargent College has flourished because it has adapted as times changed. First, it was a program to educate women to be gym teachers. Then a college for allied health professions, which educated PTs, OTs, speech pathologists, and audiologists, and others. And now, a college with additional degrees that are stepping stones to many health-related programs. And it's a world-class research program. While adapting, Sargent College has always stayed true to its caring values. You, like Sargent College, have adapted to change. When the pandemic hit, you adapted to Zoom to continue your education. Then moved to hybrid schooling with frequent COVID testing, masking, and occasionally isolation. But now we are here in person and on live stream to send you off on the next phase of your journey. No matter which era students attend Sargent College, it's a place with a strong, compassionate community that can adapt. And I know you, its graduates, can take those values with you wherever you go. That is the spirit of Sargent College and its graduates. Your Sargent education empowers you to make a difference in your own lives and in the lives of those around you. No matter what path you take, you are trailblazers, and when something is not right, you will know how to evaluate the situation and then work individually and collaboratively to make things better. Just like the college itself, you have learned to figure out how to make the best of the current situation and see the opportunities to move forward. That is what I call your Sargent power. And as you travel along the journey, you will come to recognize and appreciate your Sargent power. It will make appearances when you are stuck in an uncomfortable setting or an unjust situation. Your Sargent power helps you find a position where you are empowered to make a change for the better. Sometimes your Sargent power will be there in a pinch, and sometimes you'll need to take some time to reflect in order to find it. Every step of my career has been cushioned and framed by my Sargent experience. When I attended Sargent College around 1980, we had one phone in our dorm room, and the cord was attached to the receiver was attached to the phone with one of those curly cords. We typed our papers on paper, and they were typed on a typewriter. With a 4-year degree, if you passed the PT exam, you could practice as a physical therapist. If you worked the required number of hours in the athletic training room, you could take the athletic training exam. I spent many, many hours in the athletic training room, which was then in a windowless room in the case center. Nick Passaretti, the head athletic trainer, was also a PT and a Sargent grad. He ran a tight and respectful training room. I got used to being around the locker room atmosphere and the men's club, and I really learned to hold my own there. Back then, the physical therapy science classes were condensed and did not meet the requirements for medical school application. So after graduation, I worked as a physical therapist in Boston, supporting myself, while I took the required classes and applied to medical school. I will never forget the feeling when I sat down in the lecture hall on my first day of class at the Mount Sinai School of Medicine. I thought to myself, I did it. And when I graduated from medical school, my parents and 2 of my grandparents were there to see me graduate. As a 4th-year medical student, I applied for a residency in orthopedic surgery, a very male-dominated field. There was one interview I will never forget. I was the only woman who interviewed that day. I was wearing my blue skirt suit that my parents bought for me and my black pumps. And there were about 15 male students also interviewing then. When it was my turn for the interview, I walked into a room with a large oval table and about 7 to 10 men sitting around it. Before my butt hit the chair, one of the doctors leaned forward, slammed his fist on the table, and said, "You're a woman. What the hell do you want to go into orthopedics for?" So many things ran through my mind at that point, but thankfully my sergeant power kicked in. I responded that I enjoyed orthopedics as a physical therapist and athletic trainer, and no one ever doubted me. Now that I wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon, some people were questioning me about it. One doctor asked about my plans for raising children. I was single at the time. One asked, "How are you going to reduce the dislocated shoulder on a big motorcycle rider in the middle of the night without me having to get out of bed to help you?" Well, I thought, at Sargent, I learned to transfer big people from bed to chair with good technique. So I answered, "I'm here to learn. I know that good technique makes up for brute force. And by the way, it's not so hard to reduce a dislocated shoulder with good technique. It was actually one of my favorite things to do." Anyway, as the interview went on, I reminded myself that I was interviewing them as much as they were interviewing me. I was evaluating and adapting to the situation. The last question was the icing on the cake. Say I'm the admissions director of an all-men's club and you want to join. What do you have to say to me that will convince me to let you join our club? My reply was honest. If that's your attitude, I have no interest in joining your club. There are many ways one can feel when leaving that interview, besides being furious. I decided not to rank that program. I had no interest in going. After I calmed down, and with some reflection, I came to realize that they were not interested in seeing me succeed. I felt that it was in my best interest to find another opportunity to become an orthopedic surgeon. By the way, another woman interviewed there a few weeks later and told me that the interviewers spoke about how well I did. I mean, go figure. You will each face some challenging situations. Always remember your Sargent power. You'll figure out your best way forward. I matched to a wonderful program at Case Western Reserve University, now University Hospitals of Cleveland. There were 2 chairmen there during my 5-year residency. Dr. Kingsbury Heipel, who once told me, Donna, if there's something that needs brute force, call a brute. There are plenty of them around. And then Dr. Victor Goldberg, who the residents affectionately called Dad. They created a respectful and caring environment, and they wanted all their residents to succeed. Throughout my career, I tried to surround myself with the right balance of people who wanted me to succeed and people who provided me with motivation. You will each find the right balance for yourself. While there were some instances of sexism throughout my career, early on, the annual orthopedic residency gathering was called the Stag Party, and the gift from residency and from fellowship was a men's necktie. I did my best to manage the situation with restraint, respect, and when possible, humor. I wore antlers to the stag party, and they never called it a stag party again. And I put the neckties in a display box on the wall of my office. It was a statement and quite a conversation piece. We all have challenges, and despite the sting they cause, these moments teach you a great deal about who you are, something about who you're dealing with, and provide you with the opportunity to move forward. And you might get a good story out of it. For me, restraint, respect, and a good sense of humor are a powerful combination to make a point. So when it's important for you to assert yourself, do it in a manner that is respectful and in a way to move things forward. Thankfully, times have changed. Wall phones to cell phones, typewriters to laptops, women restricted to domestic lives, to women working in every profession. There is greater diversity now in the workplace, which allows for so many paths forward. In most professions, there is a culture to cultivate talent. Though it's not to say that discrimination is dead, we have a lot of work to do. Society continues to evolve, not necessarily smoothly, but in the long run, the evolution does continue to move forward. It is good to remember that others have made your successes possible, and your successes will embolden others in the future. We are all trailblazers because we have the ability to blaze new trails for ourselves, for those we help along the way, and for those that follow us. Your journey included a global pandemic, which you handled by embracing various means to move forward in unpredictable and challenging times. The world needs all of you today more than ever to help you manage the challenges ahead. With your Sargent experiences, your Sargent experiences have changed you, have taught you, and have moved you along your journey. With your Sargent spirit and your Sargent power, you will show the world the Sargent way. So, remember all those who helped you on your journey. Remember your Sargent power, and if it's not immediately apparent to you, take some time to figure out how to get your power back. Surround yourself with the right balance of people who want you to succeed and people who provide you with motivation. When possible, diffuse tension with restraint, respect, and a good sense of humor. And finally, pay it forward. Leave the path a little easier for the people who follow you. One day, they'll be thanking you. Congratulations to the Sargent Class of 2025 and those who have supported them along the way. I wish each of you the best of health and success on your journey. And graduates, for all those who say you can't do it or who tried to get in your way, you will show them the Sargent way of clearing the path and moving forward again. Congratulations.